This is Ironman training with POTS and Type 1 diabetes, week 16. Let's go. This week it was 3 runs for 35 miles, 3 rides for just over 100 miles, and 3 swims for 7,700 yards. Oh boy. All right, let's jump into the long run, which was yesterday. It was 20 miles. I went into it cocky and I came out of it humbled. I've been running great. I ran 10 and a half miles at a 10:30 pace on Wednesday. Then on Friday, I ran over 5 miles again at a 10:30 pace. And so I went into this run sort of expecting more of the same. And it started out great. A friend of mine joined me for the first 10K. We went pretty easy. And the first 10 miles were great, between 10:15, 10:45, up to 11:15. But by mile 12, summertime arrived in Florida. The next 5 miles, I had to slow down a lot to keep in zone 2. So that was anywhere from 12:15, 12:30, 12:50, all the way up through mile 17. By mile 18, the wheels came off. I had to do a run walk at a 13:30 pace, and my heart was jumping out of my chest. I was no longer in zone 2. I was up in zone 4. I was between 159 and 165 at a run walk just for those last 3 miles. It was extremely humbling, and I'm gonna blame 100% of that on POTS and the heat intolerance, because it's been real nice these last few weeks getting this cooler weather. But I got smacked in the face with some 80-degree Florida sun, and my body just flipped the fuck out. And that's exactly what happened. So it was really humbling. A friend of mine suggested, and she's right, that the course of the next couple weeks, I'm going to try to spend some more time running in the afternoons and evenings, try to expose myself to some more of the sun and heat and get more heat acclimated between now and the race, because that's not sustainable. That's definitely not sustainable. I did what I could to recover yesterday, and then today I got up on the bike, I got on the indoor trainer, and I did 2 hours, and I'm going to tell you, I absolutely suffered through it. You probably can't tell right now, but I'm 100% in a crash. Like, I am utterly exhausted. There is nothing in the tank, not mentally, not physically. It is taking everything I can to make this video right now. I don't know how else to describe that. I took a shower a little bit ago, and it was just, get me out of here, get down, get down, get down. Like, my body is trying to tell me something, and so I'm listening, because this is what will kill my race. If I were to show up like this on race day, I would not make it. So I did my 2 hours today instead of 3, and I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to drink a lot of water. I'm going to get a lot of rest, and if I can fall asleep, I will, because the most important day is the next day. That said, we got 20 miles done, and it is still the second fastest 20 miles I've ever ran. The first fastest was actually up in Killington, Vermont, where it was going straight up and straight back down. And I did that one in about 3 hours and 45 minutes. This one I did in 3 hours and 58 minutes. My fastest one before that, I think, was about 4 hours and 3 minutes. I did, however, manage my diabetes very well on that run. Never really experienced a low. I did take a little bit less Tresiba the day before, which I believe I'll do on race day. But I never really got too low, too high. I was taking a gel every 15 to 20 minutes. Every once in a while, I was a little bit higher, and I skipped a mile. I did everything I could to hydrate. Maybe I didn't hydrate enough early enough when the temperature was still cooler in the lower 70s, because on the way back, instead of taking a couple sips every mile or so, I was emptying the bottle every mile or so, and that's not good either. So it was a rough day, but you know what? A 20-mile run, any sort of long distance endurance exercise like that, is not just about your cardio. So much of it is about your mind. It's about things going wrong. It's about suffering through it. It's about knowing that you can. So I guess that'll be what I learned from yesterday, is that when things go haywire in the Ironman, and they will, I know I can keep going. All right, now what is exciting is my longest swim. I swam for over 4,000 yards, continuous, unbroken. I have never done that. I did about 350 yards of drills before that as a warm-up. Then I got to it. I got into the pool with a blood sugar level approaching 400. And then I had already run 5 miles that morning. And then at the end of the swim, it was 125. So that is a steep drop off. It took me an hour and 40 minutes. I'm very concerned about diabetes holding up in the swim. I'm being told by others that perhaps I should consider having insulin on board, and that part of the reason of that steep drop and steep decline is that my body essentially is like responding or reacting to such a high level of insulin, and then it's like releasing whatever I have. I don't know about that. That's not what I experience. I just don't know about that. I've been doing the running for years. I've been doing biking now for just a little bit. Swimming is brand new, but I mean, an hour and a half, 2 hours of continuous activity, trying to maintain a blood sugar level of like 180 or something like that, or 200 is great when you can check your sugar and when you can actually address the issue by taking additional glucose, neither of which I'm going to have available to me for the entire swim. So with just like 26 days or 27 days left, I have more to learn on this topic. I'm going to experiment in the pool a little bit this week, but you know, I still feel a lot more comfortable going into it with a very high blood sugar, because you're only going to get one shot at it, and that is not the reason I want to fuck up Ironman. That said, I mean, it was a great swim. I averaged like 229 per 100. You know, I'm not the fastest swimmer, but it was consistent. It was faster. It was faster than I sometimes do. You know, I was tired. My muscles, my lats and my tris and shoulders especially were sore, and I could really feel every pull at the end. But I mean, I could have kept going. So I'm feeling confident physically about the distance and my ability to cover it. The only issue I have, the only concern I have, is my diabetes and blood sugars. So, you know, we're really going to lock down on that over the course of the next few weeks. As far as my bike training, you know, I guess that would be the second. I guess I do have three concerns: diabetes in the swim. I feel like my bike training has been underwhelming. Like, if I was just training for a 100-mile race, great. But training for a 100-mile race that I'm then going to get off the bike and run a marathon, you know, I really don't think I've put in the effort. I don't think I put enough time in. And I could be wrong, but, you know, when you're going to be on the bike for 6-7 hours, doing a couple 90-minute sessions a week just doesn't feel right. And I've gotten the big distances in. I've done 50, 60, 70, 80. I'm going to do 100 in about a week or two. But that doesn't mean I'm really building up that level. So, you know, there is some concern that, I guess it is what it is now. With a month left, it's not even a concern. My bike training has been underwhelming, and I'll have to consider that on race day. I do have my 100-mile ride coming up, Century Ride, first time doing that in 12 days ish. Next weekend, I am doing the Olympic triathlon, St. Anthony's in St. Petersburg. So that's kind of makes my training schedule a little bit wonky with 3 weeks out. And I'm going to do the 100-miler the week after. Something else I considered about the run is I also started that run with a lot of tailwind in my water bottle. But of course, by the time I've refilled it twice, there's no more tailwind. I'm taking 3 to 4 honey stingers an hour, so I am getting some sodium in there, but it's also very likely that I'm not getting nearly enough sodium, because once the tailwind runs out, that's it. So, I mean, it is a pain in the ass to run with stick packs and all that shit that you'll have to then open up and put into a water bottle and whatever, but I'll have to consider that on race day. I know there'll be a lot of stuff out on the course, but, you know, the second step to overcoming any obstacle is to own the circumstances, and therefore I need to accept that I have this condition and I need to treat this condition in order to compete. I can't ignore it and just think that I don't get to do that, which also humbles me and reminds me a little bit about the marathon. You know, I talk about PRing the marathon, which after Saturday's effort, I don't know if I feel that way anymore. But, you know, it is going to be a little bit different than just being able to run with, you know, the way that you normally do. I'm going to have to really lean into the aid stations. I mean, even if I run the fastest I've ever run, you know, I'm still going to be adding an extra probably 15 seconds in aid stations so that I can make sure I capitalize on my nutrition needs in order to get through this thing. And listen, that's not a bad thing. It's the cost of doing business. You know, you can do anything despite your condition. We just might have to work a little harder, do it a little bit different. And that's all right. My medal's going to look the same at the end. I'm not going to win the thing. As a matter of fact, you see the person who just won Texas? Yeah, my bike split might be that long. I still haven't weighed myself in a minute. I am, like I said, I'm guessing I am down a good 10 pounds, which is good. It's about where I should be, but I'll make sure I update those stats. My A1C is down a point. My 90-day average blood sugar is down 7 or 8 points from when I started this thing. My VO2 max is up 7 points. My Even Garmin has rewarded me somehow with a higher heart rate. I don't know, whatever. But so my training zones, everything's improving. I mean, this is great. This is what a lot of hard work yields, is just healthy results. And it doesn't always have to be an Ironman. It's just, this is the fight I picked. So whatever fight you got to pick so that you adopt and maintain healthy habits, go pick a fight. Let's go. Less than 4 weeks till Ironman Jacksonville. Let's go. Live inspired.